The question is, what would you do to revitalize our neighborhoods where vacancies in the retail businesses appear as a symbol of failing neighborhoods?
I also own a small business, so I'm one of the unique positions where I can say I sign the front of a paycheck, not just the back of a paycheck. In fact, I'm hoping to sign the back of a paycheck sometime soon when the economy does turn around. I've also had the unique opportunity as a former paramedic fireman to see how government operates, and now in the position I am sitting now, I actually see how the administration of government actually works. So I got to see all sides, and in my early career, I was a assistant vice president, branch manager of a bank. So I've seen corporate America too. And so it's specific to the question, you know, it's people think that it's always the government's fault that somebody goes dark. There's a lot of things that happen. Business owners themselves, a lot of them unfortunately, and we see that just through the years of my experience with the chamber as a business owner, don't know how to prepare themselves when they open a business. I love small business, I love entrepreneurship, I love the fact that people want to do something. Open a business, they think they got a good idea or product. But sometimes they're not prepared. That'll fail a business in any economy. The economy itself, as Carrie mentioned earlier, you know, disposable income, any type of business disposable income is usually the first that suffers because it's just that, it's disposable. You're going to put food on your table for your family first. Now, what can government do? The best we can do, and we have been doing it, is exactly what one of the other people have mentioned. We've been doing this for years. What incentives can we give you? We have incentive programs such as we're doing on Sutter Street. We are paying for the revitalization of Sutter Street. We're paying for the new facades. We're paying for the new sidewalks. We're in a process of redoing Central Business District. Carrie and I sit on a subcommittee. What can we do for those businesses? There are incentive programs through the Regional Sanitation Department, depending on what kind of business you're doing. So the incentives are out there. The will's out there, but sometimes you run into the biggest hurdle, absentee ownership. And just finding the owners to talk to them is more difficult than most people can actually realize. And with all resources we have, it's a bigger challenge than what most people think. The best we can do is try to put all parties together to see if we can come up with something.
And I think if I read between the lines of the question, there is a concern, a valid concern that with these vacancy rates that we have in our retail and some of our office space, and actually residential areas as well, is what are we doing to arrest and repel the chances of blight in these neighborhoods? And some might, the risk of that might be greater in some areas than others. And I think where we really get active is to really give a lot of incentive to some of our partners to get active. And we have a very active Chamber of Commerce here in the city of Folsom. There's another group called the Folsom Economic Development Corporation, which is a arm of the Chamber of Commerce along with some other entities, including the city of Folsom. And actually, we even have very active and well-funded tourism bureau, which is another piece and part of that. So what I'm saying is with these groups, we try and make sure that everybody understands how attractive Folsom is, and we want to make sure that we have the best chance of filling some of this vacant space, filling some of these vacant homes, all those sorts of things, before any other community. And we're very, very sensitive to that. You know, we've all seen this and been exposed to it. You know, we've got Mervin's has moved out. We've got to still have a vacant old Ralph's supermarket. These are giant pieces of square footage that really take a unique form of tenant to fill those back in. And we're actually looking at reuse. It may be time to realize that maybe we don't have the right mix of retail, office, and those sorts of availability of commercial space. So there is a lot of activity there, and working very hard to make sure that it doesn't get any worse in this trying time.
I think it again goes back to being creative and innovative. I think times are tough for everybody, and how can we get the community mobilized into going out and spending more? How can we reinvest in our businesses and help them feel too that they are a part of this community? I would suggest that we need to go out there and talk to small business owners, big business owners, find out, you know, is there anything that the city can do, that the government can do to help? How can we incentivize you, or how can we communicate the incentives that Steve had mentioned earlier to you so that you can take advantage of them? It's, I think, a bit of both of the effort of the people to want to reinvest, and I think we all have that. But also, I think it's strategies to make sure that no one wants to be, you know, the owner who's going out of business. So I think it's a combination of communications, good strategies. One of the things that I would also like to focus on is transportation in and around Folsom, if we can do something like what El Dorado does, I know we have light rail, but as a previous commuter to Sacramento, light rail door to door would take me an hour and a half almost. It would be easier for me to jump in the car and go down 40, 45 minutes, down 50 to downtown Sac. So can we do special shuttle buses to Sacramento? Can we do shuttles to Roseville? Can we do more, look at what we have right now within the city and focus more on the business district and see, are there specific times that people want these rides and they don't have them that would support things? So these are the things that I look at. Thank you.
I feel that there's a lot of empty lots across the nation. And if you look at Folsom and you compare it to other cities, it's a very small percentage in comparison. As far as making changes as to how to attract other businesses into Folsom, like Ms. Bodega mentioned earlier, we need to be a little creative and also reach out to those business owners. I'd like to see some more networking between, understand that we have a Chamber of Commerce, we have a Rotary Club, we have the other organizations, but I think I'd like to see a link between all those organizations. And, the more connected they are, probably the better it's going to be. It helps those businesses that are lacking the information, because the information is out there. And a lot of business owners are struggling to just hang on and just don't have the time to go out and get those resources. And so I think if we just go out there and reach out to them, help them out, give them that extra hand, give them the information that they need, because there's a lot of resources out there by the government, by the city, to help them stay up and keep them from going out of business. So just find more ways to network with the business owners so that we can stay in touch and help them out as much as we can.
I'm going to date myself a little bit. The very first, the second president that I remember really clearly having an understanding of sort of his opinion and political position and his philosophy economically was Ronald Reagan. And I think that this is an instance where perhaps we're looking for some help from the government to solve a problem that collectively all of us can get together and solve. Folsom has absolutely ideal demographics for virtually any kind of retail. It's a great place to live and is very attractive to business owners who have professional type services. So attracting people to Folsom is not particularly difficult. All of us collectively, however, can help those storefronts that are blank by going out and supporting our friends and neighbors that own businesses here in Folsom. I have friends that just took over the grocery outlet, and I changed my shopping habits because I want them to be successful. Another parent from Vista Del Lago just opened a cupcake shop and is in competition for the very hot gourmet cupcake market right now. And apparently, if we create it, they'll all be successful. So I would say, I would turn the question sort of on its end and say, there are many things, obviously, that we can do. The partnerships with FedCorp, the reaching out to business owners, the being available with help where help is appropriate. Absolutely, we should continue to do all those things. But all of us in this room and everybody who watches this, you should go buy a cupcake at Rockin' Cupcakes, and they'll be successful, and success breeds success. Other people will go.
The way the question was initially phrased, I'm going to go back to that, and it said that the vacancies are somehow a sign of failing neighborhoods, and I'm not really seeing that, so I just want to put that part of the question out of the way. One of the shopping centers in town that in my opinion, has some of the highest vacancy rates is the new Rayleigh's. I was, at one of those businesses a week ago, and I was very, very surprised at the number of vacant storefronts there. As most of the other candidates have said, this is about making sure that we do, in fact, patronize local businesses. Steve and Andy both talked about the work that FedCorp does, the work that the Chamber does, the work that we as council members do. I'm a small business owner myself. So, I completely understand that. I know how the economic downturn has affected me. And if I'm going to go out to dinner, I'm going to go out to dinner in Folsom. I've been shopping at the grocery outlet since they opened. So, I totally get that. The previous owners as well as the new owners are wonderful people. But we have to, especially the small businesses, the large box stores, it's hard for us to have a lot of influence over them. But if we, as residents of the community, patronize those businesses, and instead of, going to Roseville because I can get something for $5 cheaper, I haven't been within the city limits of Roseville in I don't know how long. So, that's very important for all of us to keep in mind. As we do that, we're keeping the tax dollars in this community, and we have the chance of helping these businesses. It's really not government's role to try to allow someone to recover from perhaps a bad personal choice that someone made in their own small business. But to the extent that we can help them, the city has been working very, very hard at that for a very long time. Please, when you're done here, go and patronize a local business on the way home.